Howdy, yokes. Before we get started today, we just want to give a quick shout out to Instagram user L.Stells, who won our Instagram competition for the month of September, gets free access to our Discord server for 3 months, and gets a copy of Dead Poets Society on Us, the Blu-ray. We're going to be doing these competitions the last week of every month, so look out the last Monday of the month, and we'll have an Instagram competition each month. You'll get one of the movies we reviewed over the month, and 3 months free access to our Discord server. All entirely free, just for liking the post, following us on Instagram, and commenting which movie you want. And now on with the episode.
Howdy, yokes, and welcome back to Bacon and Eggs! I'm Tyler Carlin.
And I'm Ethan Edgehill.
And today we're headed to Amsterdam.
Or maybe just some park in Indiana.
So pull out your pack of metaphors.
And write yourself a eulogy.
Because today we're bringing you
The Fault in Our Stars. You think we were maybe a little too excited in that intro?
I'm crying now.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
I mean,
that
I
felt
don't
a
wanna
little
lie to you.
disingenuous.
There's actually a tear coming off my face as we speak.
Just anytime somebody says the name of this movie, I'm like, okay, we're good.
Fault in the Stars just for them.
Yeah. Oh, Tom Perignon, man. Anyway,
Come quick, I've bottled the stars.
Tyler, how's it going, buddy? You ready? You ready?
It's the morning.
This is
It's
the morning.
We don't usually do this in the morning.
No.
So I've got coffee instead of what I usually have, which is an adult beverage.
I don't have anything currently. That's weird. I just realized that. I don't have like any sort of drink.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm going to run down some stats like I always do, and then we're going to... What comes after stats? The binary review?
Binary review and the positive
then-
and negative reviews.
I think we did the positive.
Those are before the
first
binary.
today.
No, we're doing the binary first today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the point of the binary is that it's like my commute to work is only 30 seconds, right? So they need to get it bing, bang, boom. That was some snapping. That's onomatopoeia, but with my hands.
Who turns on a podcast for their 30-second commute?
I imagine
Who
they
has a
have it
30-second commute?
automatically queued up. All right, so this movie was released.
I don't think that's the right date.
Oh, no, it doesn't sound like
It's
the right.
not the right date.
I was about to say, I was like, all these movies came out in September. But I remember it being cold when I saw this movie. I wore a jacket.
Well, it came out in June, and it was over the summer.
I don't remember it being cold. This movie was released on June 6th, 2014. That was 1,572 days ago. On a small, under 10 million, I think we're going to say from now on, 10 million or less is shoestring.
Well, you described 13 million last week as an aglet budget.
That's true. Okay. 50 million, that seems like a lot. 25 million and under
Is shoestring.
is shoestring. 50 seems like an expensive, like, I don't have $50 million. I don't have $8.5 million. I don't have any millions of dollars. As long as we're on that topic. You can go to patreon.com/baconandeggs and pledge $1 million.
I'm going to get you a business card that says Tyler Carlin, not a millionaire.
Not a millionaire. Ethan Edgehill, King of Sweden. So this movie was made on $8.5 million budget, made $307.2 million worldwide, which I imagine the creators were pretty excited about. That's a pretty good ROI.
That's a pretty good return on investment.
80% critic rating, 85% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 69 on Metacritic. There's some Venn diagrams about 18-year-olds with one leg on that one.
Nice.
Nice. Anyway, quick binary review. Ethan, this movie's a 1.
This movie is a 1.
Not only should you see it, I think you need to see it.
Can you imagine if we just said this movie's a 1 and then cut the episode off?
And that's Bacon and Eggs. Thank you for listening.
New format, guys.
We just don't have as much time as we used to.
The time commitment's really starting to strain us.
Right. So we're cutting the show back. We're going to keep doing the blogs and everything else.
Yeah. All the content no one cares about, but we're cutting the show.
Speaking of blogs, and before we get into customer reviews,
Customer reviews.
Professional critic reviews, we do now have blogs. As of this episode airing, there are multiple blogs on our Patreon for everyone to see, and they should be on baconandeggs.media as well. Me saying that is me holding myself accountable to posting them there. Those are blogs for everybody, and we post all of our blogs on Patreon a week early. All you have to do is pledge $1, and you can read our blogs a week before everybody else. And I think they're pretty good. I think we're not the world's worst writers. We're still so new at it that we're putting in enough effort that we want to make sure we're doing it correctly and not like lazily autopiloting it.
Yeah, it's good content.
Yeah.
Probably.
Maybe. I don't know. If you like it, be sure to like literally click the like button or tell me that you like it, because I kind of need the validation.
At least you're being honest with yourself here.
Like, I'm not doing it for the dopamine of like, oh, somebody liked my tweet. There we go. Ooh.
Ooh.
There's no metrics on Patreon for like who's visiting the site and who reads these things. So I want to know that it's getting to people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So just, leave a little like.
Yeah. Smash that MF like button.
Yeah. Yeah. Next week, Jacksepticeye on Bacon and Eggs. Oh my God, no, I'm kidding. It's not happening.
Good Lord. Don't promise that. You're supposed to underpromise and overperform, not
Over-deliver.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to very, very, very much overpromise and then just undeliver.
I tell you what, folks. You tweet at Jack. If he decides to come on the show, we'll do it. But I'm not asking him because he won't listen to me. All right, so
We know that because Markiplier didn't listen to us.
Markiplier didn't listen. No, he didn't. So we'll take Jack. We need a negative review, Ethan. Somebody that does not like this movie.
So Pamela Powell from the Daily Journal, and it's not the Daily Journal of like the Daily Journal. It's the Daily Journal of Kankakee with Illinois, because nobody Kankakee, Illinois, because nobody who's a reputable journalist hated this movie. Apparently,
The Deseret News of Salt Lake City didn't like it either. Deseret.
Yeah, that's and neither did somebody from Uprocks with 2 X's. That's what I'm getting at. Anyway, Pamela Powell said, "The 2 hour and 5 minute running time of continuous sadness and unending pearls of wisdom made this viewer disconnect from the characters."
Wow, Pamela, I don't like you.
She makes a very valid point, though. It's a long movie.
It is a long movie. I didn't quite realize it, and we watched it with commercials. Which, by the way, if you want to watch this movie and you have YouTube TV, I'm pretty sure you just tell your TV you want to watch it, and it makes it happen. I don't know if we paid for it.
I don't think you paid for it. YouTube TV has like channels, and it was streaming on demand on one of those channels.
It was on FX.
Then yeah, you're good.
Okay. Well, if I receive an invoice from the person who pays for my YouTube TV for watching this movie, I will pay it. But that's how we watched it. Anyway, I have a positive review from Richard Roper of richardroper.com. He's a famous guy, right?
Yeah, from Ebert and Roper.
Yeah.
Yeah, you replaced Gene Siskel.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
He said, led by the unforgettable work from a young actress who's among the best of her generation. The Fault in Our Stars is a lovely work. And I think that's an important point. I think Shailene Woodley is a national treasure, and she was great in this. She was great in that movie about Snowden, and she was great in The Secret Life of the American Teenager.
You just hardcore admitting to watching that show?
Yeah.
The show?
Let me tell you about season 1 of Secret Life of the American Teenager. 100% worth your time. As me as a 16-year-old.
Okay. All right, so
all I remember about that show, I know that like she's pregnant, she has a kid, her mom's Molly Ringwald, and the 2 guys that are supposed to be pining for her look exactly the same but dressed different, and you're supposed to think that one of them's a bad and one of them's a total dork. But what I do know about that show is that her hair, very thick hair on Shailene Woodley.
Fair enough.
Unlike this movie where she's got very short post-chemo hair.
Yep. I don't have a whole lot of comment about Shailene Woodley's hair in Secret Life of the American Teenager, to be honest.
No?
I haven't seen the show, so I don't know much about her hair in the show.
Well, now that you know that, that's going to be some trivia for you. What notable characteristic did Shailene Woodley have in season 1 of The Secret Life of the American Teenager?
Thick
and instead of
hair.
Is pregnant, you're going to be like thick hair.
Thick, with like 9 C's.
Yeah, very thick.
All right, we got to do some toothpaste and orange juice.
Ooh, I've been thinking about this one a lot. I've been very angry about this, and I may have slightly lashed out on Twitter, so I'm excited.
Okay. You got to give me a countdown.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Festival patrons.
Festival patrons?
Yes.
Tell me about festival patrons. What did they do, Ethan? I want you to get unreasonably upset here.
This weekend I dealt with, and this was a tough weekend for me, because I think I might have gotten next week's hash brown out of this, or not hash brown, next week's toothpaste out of this weekend as well, because I can only rant about one thing here. But, oh my god, I dealt with a new level of people here. I used to subscribe to the idea that the only stupid question was a question you didn't ask. You know, you hear that statement a lot, right? This like, oh, there's no dumb questions. Oh, there are. Turns out,
there are dumb
questions. So what I did this weekend was I went to a music festival in Kentucky, and I worked the official festival merchandise and sold things all day long for 17 hours. And
God, that sounds miserable.
It was cold and rainy, and it was so rainy that the festival got canceled the next day, and the next week's festival also got canceled because the site that it was at just legitimately destroyed. Anyway, I've never been asked so many dumb questions in a small period of time. It's just people coming up to you, and I've bought plenty of band t-shirts at shows and stuff, and I've just never had a question about a shirt.
Like you go up there and
it's
you're like,
t-shirt.
okay, I want C4. That's the John Mayer with the guitar t-shirt. Here's my $20. Thank you for the 2 back and change.
Oh yeah, so it starts, somebody comes up to me and goes, yeah, let me get a t-shirt. Okay, sir, there's 47 t-shirts on the wall behind me. Which one would you like out of all of them? The black one. No, letters, dude, there's letters. Yeah, let me get a number H. Anyway, but I would get questions all day long, like, yeah, can you put the back of that one on the front of that one? No. Can I get a number C, but in blue? No, it's not how that works, man. Some dude comes up to me and goes, you got any really small hats? Like, not for a kid, but like just for a small person.
No.
The best one I got all day, though. Dumbest question. Hey, can I get one of the black baseball caps? Well, no, we're actually sold out. Why?
Because people bought them.
And I didn't know what to say. I was just like, what do you mean, why? They're just gone, dude. Like, but no, it was just, and there were people were very nice. People were very nice. It was an interesting event because there was like a lot of kind of older people there, like older than I was expecting. Like, I would say the average age of attendee at this festival I was at was like probably 48.
Really?
Yeah, like older.
John Mayer
folks.
was there?
John Mayer was there. There's also a lot of older bands, a lot of like bluegrass type stuff. I mean, it's
Sting
Kentucky.
was there.
Sting was there the next day. I did not get to see Sting.
Ugh.
Sting got canceled, as did Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin.
Ugh.
I did get to see
God.
John Mayer and Lenny Kravitz and Sheryl Crow.
But not Sting.
Not Sting. I'm pretty bummed about that, actually.
I think that would be, like, I don't want many people's autographs, and I'm not sure, like, I don't particularly, not like a huge Sting fan. I would want Sting's autograph.
Yeah, like, I'd be jazzed. I wanted to
Sting
see
was Sting at a time where there was also a Sting in the World Wrestling Federation.
Sting the musician is way cooler.
Yes, but Sting the wrestler brought a baseball bat with him.
This is true. But anyway, so
That
yeah,
was pretty
I just
cool.
spent the whole Saturday being bombarded by people who just had the dumbest questions that I've ever heard in my life. They did drop stupid money on festival t-shirts though.
Did they?
Yeah, it's like John Mayer had a long sleeve shirt that was $50.
People buy it, sell out?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had like 3 left at the end of the night. And Lenny Kravitz, you know Lenny Kravitz? Mm-hmm. Like Cinna from the Hunger Games, that guy.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Lenny Kravitz. Yeah.
He played.
Megan Woman.
Yeah, which Lenny Kravitz played longer than anybody else all night. Like he overshot his set time by like 25
Lenny
minutes.
Kravitz can do whatever he wants.
Right, but like you don't know that many Lenny Kravitz songs, and I'm not saying that to be like, oh wow, Ty, you don't know anything about Lenny Kravitz. It's like Lenny Kravitz played so many songs that I've never heard in my life.
But he's Lenny Kravitz. Like, literally, he could walk into your house right now, say, this is my house, and like you would have to move out.
But I would have been totally chill if Lenny Kravitz came out on stage and played American Woman and turned around and left.
Yeah, I mean, that
Like,
would have been cool, too.
Which isn't even his song.
Oh, I mean, it's like the house thing. It's his now.
I mean, yeah, but it is a cover. Oh, but yeah, no, Lenny Kravitz was sick, but he, like, 20 minutes into his set, his manager or whatever, came and got all of his merchandise. So Lenny Kravitz is playing, and people are coming up to us like, hey, can I get a Lenny Kravitz t-shirt? And I'm like, nope. They're gone. All of them are gone. Sorry.
Every Lenny Kravitz t-shirt
I'm like, dude,
is
did you just
gone.
not want to make money? But yeah, no, people, like, there was a couple times a day where I sold like $700 worth of t-shirts to people.
And did they pay you $700 to do this?
What?
How much did they pay? Were you fairly compensated for your commission?
No, we didn't make commission.
Oh, God.
God, if I had made like, even like, 10%,
10%? Jesus, what kind of commission are you trying to get?
5%.
Why not just ask for nickels on the dime, you know?
That's how commission works, dude. Like,
5% is pretty reasonable, but 10%? That feels like a lot to me.
5% for what? Like 5% of what?
Closing costs? That would be crazy. I would sell houses for 5%.
Yeah, like commissions.
I know that they do 3%, but like 5% would be a lot.
I mean, I sold a lot of t-shirts. Like I sold myself probably sold like $10,000 worth of merchandise.
Dang. Well, I want to complain about something, Ethan.
You want to complain about football?
Well, okay. Football is the greatest sport of all time, okay? I'm not changing my mind about this. But what I'm really upset about is when, we do a show that a lot of people around the world listen to. A lot of people who around the world know from my accent without asking that I am an American. My Twitter handle is America RLIN. It starts with my nationality. Okay? When I say the word football with my American English dialect, I am referring to football, not soccer, Ethan. And I get that these people are just trying to get under my skin, and I get that me saying
working.
this, and it's working, and I get that me saying this on the show is just going to like make it tenfold.
Yeah, you're
where
about to
people
get
are
so many tweets.
Are you talking about real football or American football? American football is real football. The one where they barely use their feet. I'm pretty sure they're running. I'm pretty sure they kick after every time they score. They use their feet a lot. They just also use their hand for the ball that they catch.
I mean, I will agree that football is a strange name for football.
I agree, but that doesn't change
I don't know
the
what
fact
else
that
they
that's
could have
what
called
it's
it back in the day, but like football is a weird name for football. They are right about they being the nerds.
But they're not nerds. They're just like gaijin, right? They're just non-Americans.
No, it's because it's not even non-Americans.
Oh, if you're an American and you ask me what kind of football I'm referring to, I'm talking about football.
Yeah, but those are the people
Period.
trying to get under your skin.
I know. And oh my gosh, that's like the uni thing. It's like if you're an American and you say uni, it's like, that's just not what we call it here. And I get that I'm the one that's not with the times and the youths are the right ones, but they're just not, Ethan. It's not called uni. It's not called football in America. It's called soccer. And that's fine. Like, you can be a fan of the MLS. I like the MLS. I like Premier League. I like the World Cup when that comes around. I think all of that's fun. But when I talk about football, I'm talking about the Washington Redskins. I'm talking about the New England Patriots. I'm talking about world champion Philadelphia Eagles. I'm talking about I don't even know who won the World Cup because it doesn't matter. Croatia, maybe?
I can't remember.
I don't even know.
I can't remember.
But I know
it was
that
a weird
Nick
World
Foles
Cup.
caught a touchdown pass, and there are no longer any rules.
Nick Foles did catch a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. God, I hate the Eagles.
I do too. God, the Eagles are the worst. I do love football, though. Nothing is making me happier than this football season. And, I asked recently on Twitter what non-sports people thought of sports, and they had some thoughts. I had 72 replies.
Yeah.
72.
Yeah,
Ethan.
they all hate sports. They use words like sports ball.
Sports. Oh my gosh. Sports. Do you have any thoughts on sports ball?
Sports ball is actually my least favorite word in the English language. Fun
Why?
fact. Because it's just so,
condescending.
so condescendingly ignorant.
Yes.
It's like you were just trying to be a jerk about, and if I did this about anything that you're interested in, you being the weird person that says sports ball, you would be so offended.
Like, imagine if...
But you feel like you're allowed to come after me because I like sports.
Right. So say, we like sports because sports is full of great stories, and it's fun to watch, and, we've been watching gladiator fights for thousands of years, and... why wouldn't we? And sports are just interesting and good, and it's the real reality TV, right? It's really happening, and there's new rules where if you're Clay Matthews, you can't tackle people.
Right. Don't start that. Being a Green Bay Packers fan has been a very weird feeling this season. So, in football, there's 3 results that you can get out of a game, right? You can win, you can lose, or you can tie. And so far in 3 games, the Green Bay Packers have done all of those.
Yeah, and it's tying until this season was not a normal thing that happened in football. In probably the 6 years I've been a big football fan, it's happened 3 times until this season.
No, it's the last couple years. It's been since they changed the overtime rules. It's been
the overtime rules changed to 1 10-minute quarter this year.
So since they changed it a couple years ago, the way that not the time period, but the way it works.
Right.
Ties have been more common.
Right.
That's been
it doesn't
4 or
happen
5
a lot.
years. No, it doesn't happen a lot. Yeah, no, and we shouldn't have tied that game. But that's a whole different story. Because again, the new penalty for the NFL, Rule 306.7, Section 2, Article 5, is it is illegal to sack while Clay Matthews.
Yeah, I didn't even realize he still played the game. I will not lie to you. I thought he retired 3 years ago.
Nope. He's probably not going to be a Packer after this year because he's just been doing pretty mediocre for the last couple of years.
He got 3 great sacks and 3 great games.
Yeah, but they're not.
None of them counted.
Yeah, he's not allowed to. He's not allowed to sack anymore, so he's useless.
Did you see that tackle on Alex Smith? That was the most beautiful sack I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, and then we're gonna call that a roughing the passer. It was beautiful, perfect, and then 5 plays later, when one of y'all like scary beast people just rips Aaron Rodgers to the ground and throws his head into the ground, it's not a roughing the passer.
No, I agree. I think it's absolutely
it's absolute
ridiculous.
Horse.
Yeah.
And Redskins,
Redskins
fans again showed why they are so mean this weekend.
We definitely still would have won that game.
That's fine,
had
but
you gotten that sack.
But yeah, that's not what I'm saying though. It's not the Minnesota thing. It's just Redskins fans were literally just oh god, I hate Redskins.
Here
fans.
I am as a Redskins fan telling you that was not roughing the passer.
Right, but you even tried to come after me. You thought about it.
No, I didn't.
When James pulled that text out, it was just how about them Redskins? I was like, first of all, James, you're not a Redskins fan.
What is James? Pittsburgh?
James is a fair weather fan.
Shout out Jim Swindell on Twitter. I think so. Jim R. Swindell. I think he's got a private Twitter. So
this is my relationship with football, though. Is I have been a Green Bay Packers fan my entire life, and people that like to hop on the bandwagon come after me every year.
But that's part of being a fan, man. Also, the Packers are America's team. You can say the Cowboys are America's team because of capitalism, but the Packers are America's team.
It is incredibly frustrating to be a Packers fan because if we have one bad game all year, people start hopping into my DMs and calling me out, being wow, I told you your team sucks. Aaron Rodgers is worthless. You're a worthless human being. Why do you even exist? Why are you a fan? And
man, you're about to give the non-sports people ammo, Ethan.
And then the Washington Redskins, fail to poop themselves on the field during the game, and SportsCenter is just new era for the Redskins, winning a Super Bowl this year? ?
No, they're not going to win the Super Bowl, but I think we're going to see some teams in the playoffs.
We'll see. You got to get past Philadelphia. They're looking pretty good.
Philly looks pretty good.
Dallas looks terrible. New York looks terrible. I'm not worried about Green Bay's chance of making the playoffs, though, because, did you see how the Vikings got manhandled by the Bills?
Ethan, Nick Foles caught a touchdown pass and won the Super Bowl. There are no rules.
All of the teams in our division are terrible.
A backup quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
Well, okay, so we're sufficiently, and chiefly off the rails now.
I know. All these people who like The Fault in Our Stars and are so excited for us to talk about it. And on principle like The Fault in Our Stars because they do not like sports are like, this is the worst podcast I've ever listened to.
You can't be a John Green fan and not like sports. Like, you can't be that guy. John Green is the biggest, like, nerdy dork sports fan in the world.
Sports apologist.
Yeah, like John Green's next book is going to be called, like, Why Sports Are Important.
It better be. I love sports. Sports are the best.
Yeah, so anyway, Tyler is mad about football because people are being mean to him on Twitter about football.
Because, like, you should just know. If I was going to talk about soccer, I would call it soccer.
Yeah, they are trying to get this rise out of you.
I know, it's working.
My eyes are watering.
You gonna sneeze? You
No.
gotta sneeze?
No, I don't have to sneeze.
You gonna sneeze?
I don't have to sneeze.
Achoo! Ethan, you sneezed. God bless you.
I hate you.
They don't know that was me.
Is that your aside for the day? All right, so let's...
Where I talk to the audience.
Oh my god. Let's talk about Tifios.
Tifios. Ethan, I think this movie was cast perfectly.
Perfectly, yes.
I will say that in my mind when I read the book, which you got to do a little bit of book comparison because I think the movie's a little confusing if you don't read the book. But I think it was cast perfectly. Only difference is that in my mind when I read the book, Hazel was Shailene Woodley, Ansel Elgort was Augustus, but Isaac was a cartoon in my mind with like a gigantic head.
I still don't know what you mean by this.
He was like a gigantic head and a tiny little body, like Timmy Turner, wearing like sunglasses. That's exactly how I pictured him. I mean, it's a fictional reality, Ethan. There can be a cartoon. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That's what I want to know.
Okay, but The Fault in Our Stars was never going to be Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It would be a very weird thing.
Wild twist.
It would have been a very weird thing to put in there. It's like, oh, by the way, this is Isaac. He's blind and he's a cartoon.
We don't even talk about why he's a cartoon. It's better than him being like a Muppet. That would have been a weird choice.
They just don't even mention it.
Right. Isaac's a cartoon. That's just part of what we're doing here.
God, a cartoon. What are you talking about?
That's exactly how I pictured him. Actually, it was sort of like, do you remember the frog people from Rocko's Modern Life?
Vaguely?
Yeah. What was their names?
I don't know. I can't. Rocko's Modern Life.
Hold on, I've got it. The Leapfrogs? No, that's the name of the episode. Mr. and Mrs. Big Head. That's how I pictured Isaac, but wearing sunglasses.
Oh, God.
And with, like, people-colored skin.
Yeah, I
skin.
vaguely remember this until you said it, and then as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, okay. I know what you're
Is
talking
that not
about.
how you pictured him?
No. Pictured him as a kid. It's like a boy. Like a young gent.
Definitely a cartoon. No doubt about that.
Well, he is, in fact, Nat Wolff.
Nat Wolff, perfect casting. Nat Wolff, better depiction of him than my brain can come up with.
I think they could have gotten, especially since they only spent $8 million in this movie, I think they could have reached and gotten some sort of star power for the dad.
I was thinking
For Hazel's dad, because the mom's Laura Dern, like from Jurassic Park, and
I would have gone with Molly Ringwald, always.
okay, why?
I don't know, she's just such like a perfect mom in a teen movie. Because she was in The Breakfast Club.
Okay, I don't know.
It all comes around.
Anyway, but I don't know who the dad is, and he was good. He was like, all right. I think they could have gotten somebody better.
Who would you have cast?
For every dad in a teen movie ever, I will cast Stanley Tucci.
Stanley Tucci. I was going to cast Neil Flynn.
Neil Flynn, the janitor?
Yeah, he was the dad in Mean Girls.
Oh, yeah. He's the dad in, like, what is it, The Middle? Remember that TV show?
Yeah, so he'd be perfect.
All the kids that are weird?
Yeah, Mike Heck. Their last name is Heck.
Yeah.
What a heckin' ridiculous name.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, there's lots of people that could have got to be the dad. I don't know who this guy is, because he doesn't do, because obviously he's not going to be, like... It's not going to be like Josh Duhamel in Love, Simon, because he's not like the handsome dad described in the book. He's like kind of weird, nerdy dad.
You know who would have made a great dad?
Who?
Mike Rowe.
Like Dirty Jobs guy?
Dirty Jobs Mike Rowe. The same.
I don't know if he could have been Hazel's dad.
Maybe not, but you could have thrown him in there
He could be a teen
somewhere.
movie dad.
Oh, yeah. Or Ben Bailey from Cash Cab.
So the only other thing... That's not a... What?
Took you long enough. You don't like Ben Bailey?
No, I love Ben Bailey. I love Cash Cab. Cash Cab's a great show. As far
Have
as
you seen his stand-up?
As far as like game shows go.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see him being the dad in a teen movie. It would have to be a teen movie where there's like it's a dad and a son and they have to have like a hard conversation.
You think Ben Bailey is like a hard conversation dad?
Yeah.
No, he's a stand-up comedian. He's like a raunchy stand-up comedian.
I don't know anything about Ben Bailey.
Oh, he's good.
He's the host of Cash Cab to me.
Yeah, he is. It's come back. Cash Cab's back.
Oh gosh. The only
That's
thing,
your hash browns. You have to watch every episode of Cash Cab.
So Cash Cab's one of those shows, and there's lots of game shows like this, and other reality shows like this, where they make it look like you just get in the cab and you're on TV,
Right.
and that's just not
It's
how
all-
it works.
No, it's all staged.
It's like they come up to you on the street and they're like, "Hey, do you want to play the Cash Cab?"
Right. And then they tell you to look surprised when you get in the car.
Right.
It's like Pimp My Ride.
Well, and it's like one of those HGTV shows where it's like, "Oh, we found these people in Lowe's."
Right.
No, you didn't.
We found these people shopping for our home. I think those HGTV shows frustrate me so much. This is why we're getting off topic, but I'm doing it. This is why Joanna Gaines and Chip Gaines in Fixer Upper are so good, because the show's well produced, but they're such bad actors that like the whole thing is filler. There is no substance whatsoever. Like when they're picking the house, they've already chosen a house. They're just faking it for the show.
Right, they go visit
their-
3 or 4 houses just to...
Right, but they've already bought one. Like
Yeah, the mortgage
When-
approved. Closing
Right.
done. Papers signed. House
Right, and
bought.
Right, and then when they're doing the remodel, they don't even like show half of the remodel. And like the computer animation of Joanna showing them the house, you can see on her computer it's not like what they show you on the screen. And then what's the other thing? Oh, when they do like the reveal at the end, you mean to tell me you're gonna trust like $80,000 in renovation to somebody and not see it whatsoever while it's happening?
Right.
You've been to that house. Where have you
Also,
been
yeah,
for the past 3 months while
Yeah,
this was
the
happening?
remodel takes months.
Right. Where have you been? There's also like rooms in the house that just don't get touched. So there's like still crappy carpet and
Yeah.
unpainted walls and
What always geeked me out about those shows, like While You Were Out or Trading Spaces.
Yeah.
It's like they do one room in this house.
Right.
And it's like, oh, that's neat. Now you have a really nice living room, and the rest of your house looks like.
Right. The rest of your house is still garbage. There's no substance whatsoever. But the great thing about, especially like Property Brothers, that's ridiculous. You found people who already bought a house and just faked the whole process.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And whatever the ones that were, they're like, oh, we were looking for a bathroom at Home Depot, and we just found these guys that were like, here's $20,000 to redo your bathroom.
man,
Neat.
$20,000 would go so far in my bathroom. My bathroom's tiny. You could do everything with $20,000. We already have like heated floors.
Well, there you
which
go.
is like
What else
the
do
most,
you want?
The most luxurious feature my home has. The roof leaks too. We got those heated
That is
floors.
such a, like, if there was a house that you could have bought, you, Tyler Carlin, that's the perfect house.
What, where the
Because
roof
that
leaks
is
and the
your
floor is
person. Yeah,
heated?
you have heated floors and a leaky roof. That is your personality to a T.
Yeah, if we were to change this show to like Hammer and Nails, and instead of comparing movies to breakfast, we compare them to Craftsman style homes.
Yeah.
Or I guess just homes.
But, like, that's such a Tyler Carlin thing.
I didn't buy it for the heated floors. We didn't realize it had it till we already moved in.
No, I
okay?
know. That's what I'm saying. That's just such a twist of fate. You didn't realize the roof leaked either.
That's true. We weren't like, oh, this one leaks.
That's
Let's
such
go
a
with this
twist
one.
of fate. That's funny. Oh my god. Okay, The Fault in Our Stars. Anyway, the only other complaint I have about casting, and this is not a complaint per se because I think he did a wonderful job, but if we're talking about like who I pictured for a part, it was not Willem Dafoe.
I think the whole character of Peter Van Houten in the film is completely off.
Not off. I wouldn't say off.
I feel like he played a much larger role in the novelization. No, that's not what it's called.
The
In
novelization.
novel.
Yeah, it's just a novel. It wasn't made after the movie.
Right. In the novel, I think he just plays a completely different part. Like he's much more heavily involved. And then in the film, they were like, we got all the way to the funeral, and then we remembered we had to put him back in. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, I think Willem Dafoe did a
just-
great job. I mean, I have no problem with his portrayal. He's just not who I would have picked.
Who would you have picked? Stanley Tucci?
No. Although, weirdly enough, different actor from The Hunger Games, Philip Seymour Hoffman, who may or may not have been dead by this point. I think he was dead, but I would have picked Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Really?
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a villain to me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, I can't picture that at all.
Oh, absolutely. He would have done such a great job. Like I said, he might have been dead, but they describe Peter Van Houten as being like a robust gentleman,
Yeah, Willem Dafoe looks like
like a drug addict.
a drug addict. I thought he looked like oddly fit.
I mean,
don't
yeah.
know.
He's an actor.
Willem Dafoe, you can put Willem Dafoe in any.
Yeah, he's a
movie
he's a
and
phenomenal actor.
It will improve said film.
Right.
We might start playing this game. It's
And that
like,
was
okay.
that was the thing that they did. They were like, Willem Dafoe's available and interested in doing this. How can we not? Well, we can't make him the dad. What can we do with him? Oh, he can be Peter Van Houten.
Hey, I can't make him the youth minister either.
Oh my god. Who was the youth minister? Is like a comedian.
Yeah, he's somebody.
He's I saw it was he's Mike Birbiglia.
Oh, he's a stand-up.
Yeah, he's a stand-up guy. It was like I didn't recognize him, but then I saw the song credit for the little song he sang. Because I was trying to figure out what that song like the horrifyingly sad song with the shouting is, the M83 song that plays like while they're walking through the graveyard, and
yeah,
the one that's just like acoustic guitars and then somebody screaming in the next room.
Yes.
I was looking that up and I saw the song credit from Mike Birbiglia, and I was like, oh, that's the little thing he does, like the song about Jesus that he does.
Yeah. We are in the literal
heart of Jesus.
Of Jesus.
This is one of those movies again, and we keep hitting on these, and I think that this is maybe just like a teen movie thing where it works, but the narration works.
I think a lot of times if you have a book, this is a first person perspective book, right?
Yes.
Or third person limited
no,
to
it's first person.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
definitely first person.
When that's the case, I think that the narration helps, because like a lot of what tells the story in the book is her inner monologue. It's not all dialogue.
Right. But like there are plenty of, and especially if you're going to open it to third person limited, there are plenty of times when narration doesn't work. Like Harry Potter would have been really weird with narration.
Yes, that would have been super weird if Harry like started talking in the middle of the book.
Yeah.
Or in the middle of the movie.
Because Harry Potter is like a very, very, very limited third person.
Yeah, it's only
It's like,
Harry.
you know, in the book what Harry is like seeing.
Yeah. Harry Potter. What a series. You know, my brothers just met J.K. Rowling yesterday.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to
I
you.
wanna do that.
What I loved was the post, or the picture that Ben Carlin tweeted of that like whole room full of people, and it's just like, this is a picture of me and J.K. Rowling and a bunch of people to photobombed, and I was like, that was pretty funny. And then I looked and it was like the picture was about J.K. Rowling and Tessa Netting.
Yeah, that's who it's about.
Because Tessa was wearing this like super bright red thing.
She always has such great outfits.
Yeah, and she was just super jazzed, and I was like, where's Ben Carlin in this picture? And then I looked at
it took me a while
back
to find,
corner.
Right, to find both of them.
I still haven't found Jonathan.
And stuff. He's in there.
No, I'm sure he is.
Really, it was like J.K. Rowling meets former guests of Bacon and Eggs was exactly what that was. Yeah. I think actually the whole event was aimed at Seamus. So they were like, we're going to invite every YouTube creator who talks about Harry Potter and has greater than like 250k subs. Okay. We're going to invite them all to this event and we're going to show them the cursed child. And they were like, who do we leave out?
Seamus Gorman, the guy who lit the book on fire.
The guy who lit the book on fire. That's also the name of my novel, The Guy Who Lit the Book on Fire.
Is that a sequel to The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo?
It is.
like a ninth sequel.
I think the whole event, the whole thing was just to stick it to Seamus.
Oh man.
Yeah, because they were like, well, Seamus got to see Wreck-It Ralph early. We're gonna show.
Did he see Wreck-It Ralph already?
He hasn't seen Wreck-It. He's seen promos and trailers and stuff that we haven't
Ralph
seen.
breaks the internet.
Ralph breaks the internet. I'm excited. I have a bet going with John Negroni that if it does better than an 83 on Rotten Tomatoes critics the Monday after it comes out, so after previews, then he has to come on our show. And if it doesn't, then I have to go on their show. Hello, Will Ashton, talking to you.
But yeah, so The Fault in Our Stars. It really is just a horrifyingly sad movie.
Yeah. Oh my God. Holy crap! It's about a girl with cancer, and she's not the one who dies of cancer.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't call it a twist. I wouldn't call it a twist.
I mean, when I was reading the book and he was like, I lit up like a Christmas tree, I was like, it's not like a Christmas tree.
I think honestly, it's hidden a lot better in the book than it is in the movie.
Yeah. To me, I also think it was interesting, book to movie. This is a small complaint I have with the whole project, and this is like just such a nitpicky thing. Why was the Make-A-Wish Foundation not like interested in getting their name out on this? Both with the book and the movie. And in the book, it's obviously Halo that he's talking about, but he calls it Counterinsurgents. Why couldn't John just write Halo 2?
Because John, when he wrote Looking for Alaska, got like obliterated by the Emily Dickinson estate.
Really?
Yeah, for using like Emily Dickinson's last words or whatever.
Dang. So he was just like,
so
I'm not even
at
gonna
this
risk
point,
it.
I think John's just like, I'm not even gonna bother.
Right. Yeah. Forget the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Forget. But anyway, you don't just get to, like, after you're cured of cancer, you don't get to use your wish.
Yeah, you do.
I don't think so. I don't know how it works.
Once they give you the wish, I mean, I get that is a clue you're supposed to pick up on. Like, he still has the wish because he's sick again.
Right.
Because he's going to die again.
Right.
Well, we're all going to die.
I did not pick that up reading the book because I was like, man, I've never had to deal with this situation.
I didn't pick it up reading the book. I don't think I picked it up until you said something about it because it was just like, yeah, obviously he still gets to use the wish. It's like he had it. They're not going to take it away from him. You can't take a wish away from a kid that lost his leg.
It's 18.
So?
You can lose your wish at 18. I don't know. That sounds really cool.
You're so cynical about this. You're just like, how can I take Gus's wish away from him?
This isn't funny. Gus Gus is a fictional character and he died. Okay, he's fictional.
Yes.
The whole thing is fictional.
The whole thing is fictional.
There's a Thomas Sanders bit I think is hilarious where he comes out and he's like, I love you and I cherish you and you mean everything to me. And it like puts his hand on somebody and it's just labeled fictional character. And they're like, I'm not real, right? Like, it's unhealthy to have this kind of obsession.
Oh man. Can we talk about how this is like, yes, it is a book about cancer and about what it does to people and the relationships between people, but it is also a handbook for how to deal with John Green being successful.
Yeah, like how to talk to people about looking for Alaska and paper towns.
John Green alone. Is the mantra from this book. John Green is Peter Van Houten. He wrote a book that was important, very important to a few people.
Which book?
Any of the ones, or well, not any. Probably not An Abundance of Catherine's. Either Looking for Alaska or Paper Towns. And he wrote a book that is important.
That being said, John, if you're listening, Catherine's is a great book. It's just not important to people in the same way that Paper Towns and Looking for Alaska
I think that even John will admit that. It's like, it's a funny thing.
Right.
And certainly not as important as this book. But yeah, Peter Van Houten wrote An Imperial Affliction, and now he doesn't want anything to do with it, which I don't think John Green doesn't want anything to do with his books. But it's like, and especially for this book going forward, is like, nothing happens to Hazel after the book ends.
She dies.
No, she doesn't. Her story ends. Whatever happens to her is up to you. That's the point.
Who's this book about?
What do you mean?
Is it about Gus?
No, it's about Hazel.
About Gus.
How is it about Gus?
The metaphor is about Gus. You put the killing thing in your mouth.
Yeah, what is that a metaphor for? Like, what is he trying to do there?
He's trying to show.
I get what it is, but I don't necessarily know why I understand why it's a metaphor.
I think it shows that, I don't know, he doesn't fear cancer. He gets that it's a part of life.
Right, you put the killing thing in your mouth, you don't give it the ability to kill you. You take control over it. I get that.
Yeah, and then...
That doesn't seem like I wouldn't call that a metaphor. I would call that a very, like, literal, you are putting a thing that gives you cancer in your mouth and not giving it the ability to give you cancer.
You don't think it's got anything to do with him being close to Hazel? She doesn't obviously give him cancer, but, like, he's not afraid of the cancer. He's not afraid of being around people who have cancer. He's not afraid that it's going... Like, he knows it can hurt him, but he's not afraid of being around it.
I never thought of that. I didn't think about him thinking about other people having cancer.
I think that's why he's willing to go to the support group, and his best friends are Isaac and Hazel.
That's because he's okay. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I never got the metaphor. I was just like, this is a pretty straightforward thing, dude. Like, you have a cigarette.
He has a pack of cigarettes.
Okay.
And then he goes to the gas station in the middle of the night and he wants to buy himself cigarettes, and then he can't because his body doesn't work.
Yeah. Yep. And then there's just that line that Augustus Waters died 8 days later.
Oh my god.
And then the book keeps going.
Oh my god.
Like, oh my, and the movie also keeps going.
Yeah.
But like,
after Gus's death.
Jesus Christ, man.
I'm taking my jacket off. It's gonna be loud and annoying. Jesus Christ.
You good over there?
Oh, I am now. You know what gives me a lot of stress and anxiety and really wears me out more than other things that shouldn't?
What?
When I have to take my boots off and like untie them. It like wins me to like lift my feet up to where I can untie my boot and like pull it off.
Yeah.
I am like beat.
Because you're all bent over and like
you gotta like flex in weird
constricted
ways.
and not getting
gosh.
the right amount of air.
Yeah, it like wears me out. And like I can't, like I hold my breath when I untie my shoes, and I always expect it to be just as simple as like pull the one string and then you're good. You gotta pull the one string and then you gotta like go under the like the pre-knot and pull that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always cooperate. Anyway, it's
I'll tell you, the freaking when I have my boots on, those are the only shoes that I have to tie.
You don't tie your shoes?
No. Well, I tie them. They just remain tied.
You're a man living on the edge.
They just remain tied. Like I got that white pair of Adidas that I've been wearing. I got those out of the box. They were already tied, and they've been tied like that since. They never came untied.
That's insane.
I mean, they just go on.
Do you remember when we were kids? I feel like this happened to me a lot more when I was a child, and I would wear flip-flops, and I'd be walking, and all of a sudden they would flick off and fly like 100 feet into the air.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
How did I solve that problem?
That doesn't... I think you just learned to walk.
Like, this happened all the time.
Eventually, you just adapted to the flip-flops.
I guess. I don't know.
I mean, clearly something changed. You seem like a human being capable of wearing flip-flops.
So the movie's about don't meet your heroes. Do you think James Harden would treat me the same way Peter Van Houten treats these kids?
James Harden is your hero? Out of all the human beings in the world, James Harden of the Rockets.
I could not have told you that's who he played for. I would have said the Houston Pistons. And this is embarrassing because I just complained about non-sports people, but I literally know nothing about the NBA.
The Detroit Pistons.
And the Houston Rockets now sounds much more correct. That sounds like a name I've put together in my mind before.
Yeah, because it's
Detroit.
Freaking Beyonce says that thing in that song where she says like London something, Houston Rocket.
Oh man.
So it's like Countdown.
Talking about.
A song song bops. It's like the only Beyonce song I like.
I like
It's got
Love
like
on Top.
like a artificial marching band in the background.
Nice. Anyway, do you think, who is your hero? Who, like, let's say, I don't want to play that game, but let's say you get to meet whoever you want. Who do you meet?
I have no idea.
Are you like, I'm gonna go meet Neil Gaiman?
Yeah, he's near the top of the list. Because I as far as like if you could do like a meet and greet where it's like you get 30 seconds or whatever to just like smile and stand next to somebody and get a picture, like I don't really care.
Yeah, no, I'll meet anybody.
Anybody, like
particularly Sting.
Right, like I'll get a picture with any random celebrity. Like I'm not gonna go out of my way, but it's like, oh, if there's like a, you know, you get a meet and greet with this concert ticket, I'm not gonna be like, no, I don't want to do that.
I'm gonna go to the thing.
But so that question just deeply is uninteresting to me because there's no like valuable, you can't learn anything, you can't like do anything. It's like, oh, I got to stand next to this guy one time, that was cool. Like it's a cool thing, it's something I'll remember.
You mean to tell me if J.K. Rowling was like, I'm in Raleigh, I've invited 30 people, you're one of them to come meet me. Now it's not gonna be like, we're not gonna be able to sit down and chat, but like I'll be there, you can take a picture, I'll sign some things. You're not telling me you'd be like...
Right, but she's at least going to give, like, a speech or something. She's going to speak.
Right, yeah. Because this exact thing just happened to my brothers.
Right, like, yes, I would absolutely do that. But if it's like, oh, there's a J.K. Rowling meet and greet where it's like, she's not really going to say anything. You can just go take a picture with her for 30 seconds and 20,000 people are going to be there and there's a huge line. I'm going to be like, yeet.
Yeah, 20,000's a lot.
Whatever. However many... Like, if I got to stand in line for hours, like, to stand next to J.K. Rowling, nah, I'm not going to do that.
Interesting. Good to know. I have to cancel that event.
It's not what I'm saying, but so it's like, you know, if that's what I'm saying. If we're talking about meet your heroes.
Yeah, like you get like a half hour to 2 hours.
Yeah, like Neil Gaiman is near the top of that list.
Neil.
I don't know who would be at the top of that list, but like I would love to sit down to brunch to get a quick bagel with Neil Gaiman.
What about Sunday brunch on Bacon and Eggs?
Yeah, I would lose my mind.
I can either book Neil Gaiman or Jacksepticeye.
I would much rather have Neil Gaiman. I'm sure that Sean McLaughlin is a lovely person.
I've been reading Good Omens on your recommendation, Neil Gaiman, Terry Pratchett, and the dry British humor. I don't know if I can take it for 400 pages, man. It's a lot.
You're reading it in like book?
Like book. I own the book.
Oh, I haven't done that. I find that Neil Gaiman books are much better read to me.
Read to you by Neil Gaiman?
He does do a lot of them, but the Good Omens audiobook is actually by a guy named Martin Jarvis, who does an impeccable job of like really brings the characters to life.
Anyway, Ethan, what are we talking about?
We're talking about who, if you don't meet your heroes. I've met a bunch of I've had interactions with a bunch of people that I try not to use the word hero too much, just because like that's a big role to put on another human being who at their core are like fundamentally just a human being.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of pressure to put on them. I think it's unfair.
Yeah, absolutely unfair. Like I would hate, well, I wouldn't hate it. I would love it. I would freak out if somebody was like, "You're my hero." I'd be like, "Ah, thank you, incredible boy.
Hero.
I love you, random citizen."
You're my hero.
Yeah, like, but if it was like somebody came up to me and was just like, "You're this, you know, enormous like influence on my life," I would be like, there would definitely be part of me that's like, why
me?
And I don't think that'll ever like, even if we get super famous and become the next Joe Rogans, like
Joe Rogan. Man, you could not pay me to meet Joe Rogan. Yeah, you could pay me to meet Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Like, what was it like on Fear Factor?
I don't even know who Joe Rogan is, to tell you the truth.
He's the king of podcasting, and he was the host of Fear Factor.
I did not know that. I knew he was a huge deal podcaster, but
yeah, he's like a super fitness buff too.
Yeah, and he talks about MMA too much.
Is that what he talks about? I've never listened to the Joe Rogan Experience.
Ooh, interesting.
Do you listen to the Joe Rogan Experience?
I have.
I'm so surprised.
We'll talk.
Okay.
I don't know if the Joe Rogan Experience is necessarily a great topic for this show.
I don't even know what it's about.
It's just interviews. It's an interview podcast, but it is deeply not family friendly.
I've heard that.
But yeah, I've had interactions with people that I look up to and to some extent admire for the creative things they do, and I have yet to have like a bad experience meeting somebody.
Yeah, no, I've never had like your life is meaningless and your disease is a evolutionary failure, and you should die from it, like type experience.
None of the musicians I've met have been particularly mean to me, or really mean to me in any way. Every like some degree famous person I've met has just been a lovely person.
I think when you get to that stage, you kind of learn how to handle it. When people are like, if somebody says they worship you, I think it's interesting. Neil Gaiman, speaking of which, in Good Omens, they talk about right at the beginning in the introduction, they're like, "We've gone on book tours for this. Thank you so much for enjoying our book. Do not get our signatures tattooed."
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Like,
I would not do that.
Like, you've crossed a line at that point.
Signature tattoo would be weird. If it's like a musician and they, because I've seen people do this where they get like their favorite song lyric written for them by the musician and get that done.
That's different.
Yeah, but like a signature is weird.
That's like identifying with a piece of art. This is like identifying with another human being on a level that is non-reciprocated.
Right, like that is weird. And I would not get Neil Gaiman's signature tattooed on my body or anybody's.
Would you get my signature?
No, I don't want the word hags on my body forever.
That might be the key to the tattoo, Ethan. That might be how you get me to get a tattoo.
To write hags?
Yeah, it's like,
man, if you get your own signature tattooed on your body,
just the hags part. I wouldn't get my name.
I'm just making.
Although
I'm making it
that's
clear
like
right
the
now.
perfect road ID.
If you get,
there you go.
If you get your signature tattooed on your body, I will never speak to you again.
Okay, that makes sense. My signature is pretty cool though.
It is cool, but like, you would be a new level of douche, previously unthought of by man.
Man has his own autograph tattooed on
his body. But yeah, so I have yet to have a bad experience meeting a human being that I like. I've seen people live in concert that have been terrible. And even if just for a while it has sort of soured me to their music. But yeah, no, I haven't met anybody that was like a real jerk.
I just don't think I've met anybody. Like, to me, when we did the meet and greet, it was a very weird experience because I have very little interest in meeting these people. I have no idea why. It's just, it doesn't appeal to me, I guess, in the way it does to other people. I'm trying to think of people that I've met.
When you're the famous person, and I'm not saying that we're famous, but I'm saying if you're the famous person, you don't do it because you want to meet the fans.
Oh, I do. I want to meet the fans. That was
you just said you
way
didn't.
More cool. No. I mean, like we went to Playlist DC a few years back, Jonathan and I did, before Super Carlin Brothers really blew up.
Oh, okay.
And we got the chance to do meet and greets with YouTube creators, and I met Gabby from The Gabby Show when Vine was still around, and Amy Marie Gartner when Vine was... Gartner? I don't know, when Vine was still around. And it was cool. It was like, hey, I follow you guys on Vine. That's cool. And that was like it. It was like, I got the photo and it was cool. I got a bunch of likes on Instagram, but it was like, yep, these are people from the internet. There was no like, I don't know.
They're regular humans. They go back to working at Denny's.
Right. Like, they're regular people, and we had a nice conversation, and they were both super hungover, and they told me about that, and that was, whatever. I was too, so cool. Rock on. And I don't know, it was just a weird thing that happened. Anyway, Amy, if you're out there and you want to come on Bacon and Eggs, let me know. Same with you, Gabby.
I don't know who either of those people are.
Yeah, you do.
I didn't watch Vine. I actively avoided Vine.
You just lost some fans just now. The Tory somewhere is like, you didn't watch Vine?
No, I absolutely did not watch Vine. And to this day, I still think people that were like Vine famous is a dumb thing.
Yeah, Logan Paul's a bad
because like most of the Vines that have like carried over after Vine died aren't from like Vine people. They're just like random things.
Good one.
Like Free Shavakadu.
Free Shavakadu.
Like that guy wasn't like a Vine guy.
That's a girl.
Is it?
It's gotta be a girl.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That person isn't like a Vine person. It's not like King Batch was like, yo, look at Del Taco.
Yo, King Batch. I support King Batch.
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. He might have done something shady, but I thought his Vines
I don't
were
think
funny.
so. His Vines were cool. And he's a pretty decent creator, and his ear biscuit with Rhett and Link was very, very interesting.
Good to know.
Andrew Batchelor.
Speaking of ear biscuits and that, let's pass some hash browns before we get back into the film, because we've kind of derailed.
Yeah.
So now's good a time as any. So last week you told me I have to watch Ozark. The pilot,
yep.
The pilot of Ozark,
Which
and
I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen the pilot of Ozark in a long time, but they just put season 2 out, and so I figured I couldn't just start you at the beginning of season 2.
Right.
So
I watched the pilot of Ozark, and it was like, it's like Breaking Bad for money laundering, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I don't know if it's for me, but it was very well shot, and it was interesting to see. They killed a bunch of people on screen, which was scary but cool. I felt like Bateman is not a bad, and I think he cast himself. I was a little uncomfortable with his like opening monologue where he's doing the like, you've done this before because you were a financial advisor, where he's doing the financial advisor pitch where it's like, your money can go into one of 3 places. A lot of people think it's only 2. You got money to support your family. It's an agreed upon currency, blah, blah, blah. Or you can, nobody's prepared for retirement, blah, blah, the whole freaking thing, right?
Right.
And then,
do you want to be taxed now, taxed later, or taxed never?
Right. The whole...
And you say,
God.
I want to be taxed never. All right, well, here's how you do that.
Right. Sign up for a Roth IRA.
Turns out it really is just that simple.
Yeah.
Although a simple is not a tax never.
Look at you.
Just in case anybody's wondering, like, this is not advice. I'm not certified to give this advice. But yeah, no, a simple, it does accrue tax.
Anyway,
just so people know.
So he's going through the whole pitch, and throughout that part, I was like, he is trying to sound more badass than he is. And I had a little bit of a problem with that. And then all the way up until he's got the gun to his head and he starts being like super vulnerable, I was like, man, this guy is trying to portray something he's not and something he can't portray. And then he sort of becomes the family man again. And I felt like if it sticks with the family thing, and I don't know if it will, because I thought when he got out of the car at the end, he was going to like light the van on fire with his family in it. And I was like, oh, cold-blooded, but whatever. But if it sticks with the family thing, I think the show's got hope. I think if it tries to go the Breaking Bad route and it turns Jason Bateman into Heisenberg, it's not going to work.
It doesn't.
Okay.
So it's a lot more of vulnerable Jason Bateman than Heisenberg Jason Bateman.
Okay, good.
That's the thing, is that is the character he's trying to portray. And it's a lot more, in that respect, is a lot more like Better Call Saul than Breaking Bad.
Well, I still haven't watched Better Call Saul.
Well, it's like,
so
yeah,
I don't
but
know.
you know how Saul is.
Yeah.
And it shows you the beginning of Saul, and he's just this complete bumbling idiot.
Right. And so that was sort of what I was concerned about. It was kind of tough to see where it was going, and it felt to me like it didn't quite have its footing for the pilot. Quite like it wasn't exactly sure where the show was going to go, the creators. But I thought it was cool that Bateman directed it. I thought that was a nice touch.
I just really love Jason Bateman. I think that he showed his depth as an actor.
No, he shows his depth in Game Night. That's a good film.
I haven't seen Game Night.
Well,
I believe you. That's a good film. I just haven't seen it.
I thought Game Night was better than this. But overall, I liked it. I thought it looks like a show that a lot of people will like. A lot of people that like that sort of super dark crime drama are gonna think is great. They like to see people die on screen and stuff. I don't know if it's for me, but
I think it's absolutely not for you.
Yeah,
you and I don't like the same kind of TV shows.
Yeah.
The exception of two.
I mean, it's objectively better than a lot of the shows I like. At least the pilot was.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I'll be able to stick with it.
I am watching Breaking Bad again. That show is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. Because I started watching Better Call Saul, I ran out of episodes of that, and I was like, well, I just want to watch Breaking Bad again.
I'm jealous.
But that's not my hash brown. My hash brown was not to watch Breaking Bad. My hash brown was to watch Atypical. That is right.
Yes,
I did watch the right show, right?
Yeah,
okay,
Atypical.
because I couldn't remember, and I remembered at like 11:30 last night that I had to do it, and I was like, I can't text Ty right now and ask him.
You could listen to the show, or really,
it didn't occur to me to listen to the show, to tell you the truth. And I was trying to go like find your tweet, and then I remembered that what I thought the name was, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this Atypical show, and if it's the wrong show, well, that's a funny little thing that happened.
Because just this week, somebody asked us in our Discord server. I forgot that we used to do at the beginning of the show the joke where like we watched the wrong movie. Somebody was like, "How often did you actually watch the wrong movie?" And I was like, "I mean, to keep the joke going every week."
Yeah, we haven't done that in a long time.
For some honest behind the scenes, I have never watched the wrong thing. Consuming content takes time.
The last time we did that was with Julia for Titanic.
I know, it was a good joke.
It was. And, it was a lot easier when we were doing the Marvel movies to, like, throw something in there that was wrong.
Right.
But, so I watched Atypical. This is a really excellent show.
This is the kind of show I like.
This is objectively better than most of the shows you watch.
I would agree. I mean, compared to what? Like, it's better than Arrow, for sure.
Yeah, it's better than Arrow. It's better than The Flash. It's better than Gossip Girl.
I don't watch The Flash.
Whatever.
Flash sucks.
You defend CW DC shows.
I defend Arrow.
Yeah.
I think Supergirl and The Flash blow.
Anyway.
And I will not watch Gotham.
It's better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's better than, like, this is a show with substance.
Yeah, no, I agree.
This is a show I can absolutely get behind. I'm pretty picky with TV. I really got to have, like, to watch multiple episodes of, like, a serious show. I'm not saying this is necessarily a serious show, but it's got, like, a serious subject matter to some extent. They do.
I mean, what you can tell them what it's about.
Well, yeah, it's about this kid. His name's Sam, I believe. It was said like twice. That was my only complaint, was that I was like, who is this guy? Because it's about him, but it's sort of like not about him. But he has autism spectrum disorder. I can't remember which it is.
Yeah.
One of those two. And he's atypical. He's not a normal person, and it's about him coping with learning to be a high schooler and learning to be a teenager. It's a lot like Perks of Being a Wallflower. Wallflower.
Yeah.
Flower.
I thought you might have a comment. You come from the podcast world and you come from the sports world. Did you have any comment on the dad?
The dad is, I know he's that guy from that Barstool thing, but I know him from a Natalie Portman movie called Beautiful Girls, where he just plays this like burnt out, like lived in high school, like still lives in his high school town guy that watches Rich Man, Poor Man on the weekend to feel good about himself. And I can't remember his name.
Michael Rappaport?
Yeah, sure.
That's his name.
But I've seen that guy in a bunch of things. He's like a B-list actor in like a bunch of movies like that. But I like him. And I thought that was interesting because like, yeah, the show is about Sam, and Sam is strange. And like, he doesn't have any kind of social skills. He's bad at talking to people, but he does.
Super smart, but he has no social. He doesn't understand nonverbal communication
at all. Yeah, and he doesn't understand like verbal communication either. Like, he doesn't understand when to not be honest. He's very blunt.
Yeah.
But and it's supposed to be about how he's the non-neurotypical guy in the family, but he's also like everybody else is more weird than him in the family.
Right.
Like the sister is definitely just a screwball, and the mom doesn't love the dad anymore. and the dad.
Oh,
What?
I hate the mom.
Yeah, I already hate the mom. I've only watched the first episode. I already hate the mom. I am gonna watch the rest of it. This is an excellent show. It's funny. It's quippy. It's quick. It's well shot. It's well acted. Is it a Netflix original?
That's my understanding.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
So it is very good. It was very well done. And there's a lot of good characterization going on, and there's a lot of like, I really hate the mom.
Oh my god, it only gets worse.
Because
at least as far
in
as
the
I've
first episode,
gotten.
the therapist is like trying to get Sam to just not to be normal. She's not trying to make him be normal. She's trying to get him to do things that teenagers do.
Do you think the therapist is too pretty? I know that's like a weird complaint, and like you can't say that, but like,
No.
You think really? I was like, holy crap. That is an incredibly attractive therapist. Not that like therapists can't be beautiful, but like
I don't know.
like
I almost thought she was a little young.
she is, and that comes up.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Like you can already see that because of the penguin thing.
Yeah.
But it's like there's this heartbreaking scene where the mom's yelling at the dad. I don't know his name. I didn't manage to catch any of that. But the mom's yelling at the dad, and she's like, it seems like you don't even like your son. And the dad's just like, yeah, who built that igloo?
Oh, I know. Oh my gosh.
And
what
she
a
was,
freaking
and
scene.
then she still after that he buys her the dance lesson or whatever he does, and is just trying to be the husband that he thinks he can be. He clearly works long hours. Like he does some kind of is he a cop or is he like an ambulance driver or something?
He works in the back of an ambulance.
Yeah, a paramedic.
Yeah.
So he's clearly working weird hours and long hours and not necessarily around all the time. And you can see the mom still out like flirting with some dude at a bar, and I'm just like, man, I hate you.
Yeah, no, she's the worst.
Yeah.
I don't know if that changes, but as far as I am in the show, she's the worst.
Yeah, and it's just, but it's like, yeah, he's the one that has the problem. The kid is the one that has the problem, but everybody else in the family is totally messed up.
Yeah.
And like, it does have that good, but not good. I mean, I guess there's going to eventually be a problem with it. I can see there being a problem with it, but it seems like he and the sister get along pretty well.
Yeah, she's younger, but she socially is much older.
Right.
And
he's like
has
this,
nobody protection.
She doesn't let anybody but her beat me up, and I was like, that could be a problem or a good thing.
Right.
So I don't know. I've only seen one episode, but it is very good. It's a great pilot. It's one of the best pilots I've seen in a long time. It really makes an impression.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that with me. I'm gonna watch the rest of it. I'm probably gonna finish Breaking Bad first, but I am gonna watch the rest of it.
Cool. Breaking Bad is 6 long seasons.
It's 5 short seasons.
Really?
Yeah. There's 5 seasons. The first is only 6 episodes or 7 episodes. The rest are 13.
Oh, that's pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm halfway done with season 3.
Well,
I also had recently watched, not recently, but like about a year and a half ago, had recently watched like the first season and a half. So I just kind of skipped the first season because I've seen it 3 or 4 times.
All right, so I'm going to pull up. I've got next week for you picked out, but if you've already seen it, then I have a different thing picked out.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. Now, does this, we're not sticking with things that like you have to be able to buy on Amazon, right? Like
This, I don't think you can buy
okay,
on
cool.
Amazon.
But the thing I'm going to suggest to you is free.
Oh, cool.
So go for it.
What is it? Oh, me first?
Yeah, go for it.
So this, I think, is something that at first you're going to laugh at, and then I want you to watch, but I want you to watch it as immersed in it as possible. And I'm only asking for about 4 minutes of your time. But you need headphones on. You need to pay attention to the whole thing.
Okay.
It is the music video for Act My Age by Hoodie Allen.
I have not seen this, but I do love this song.
I love this song, but this music video, I think, is creative in ways that the song doesn't deserve. It is like a masterpiece. I think it's amazing. It's got you thinking about like how they do that, and it's got you thinking about like this is a really creative turn and twist on the thing. But I think that the music video is much better than the song.
Okay, cool.
Like objectively,
I will check that out. I'm excited. I love that song. I love Hoodie Allen. I've seen Hoodie Allen twice, actually.
Is he good live?
Oh, yeah. Dude puts on a show. So I saw him the first time with Fall Out Boy, and it was just like him. He played, 4 or 5, 6 songs, whatever. And I saw him at the Norva, like, with just by himself. Well, not by himself, but he had a couple acts with him. But he was the headliner. And he had, like, a whole band. There was, like, 8 people on stage with him. And dude knows what he's doing. He's a performer. It was sick. And he has this song called Cake Boy, in which he throws an entire cake at a random audience member.
Nice.
And there was this girl that was, like, standing on some dude's shoulders, and she, like, and he just shook the cake in her face.
Nice. Go Hoodie Allen.
It was hysterical, like, because it was this big, like, birthday cake, and he just nailed it. And yeah, it was funny. He puts on a really good show. That was also the show where I saw a guy actually crowd surf, in that he brought a surfboard out.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, his name was Super Duper Kyle, and now he just goes by Kyle.
Kyle.
Yeah,
He's
Kyle
the
that
dude
has
with a little boat.
that I Spy song, yeah.
Yeah, what a banger.
Yeah, he was sick. He was really sick. Cool. Well, I'm going to ask for more than 3 minutes of your time.
3 minutes 43 seconds.
Okay. You got 4 minutes 33 seconds?
No, that's
I'm going to make you listen to 4 minutes 33 seconds in absolute silence. No.
I mean, I could do that.
You can just perform 4 minutes and 33 seconds whenever you want.
Yeah, there's 3 acts though. You're supposed to have a.
You know, whatever. Just the sound of a violin in a room, not being played, just there.
Right. That's the name of my punk album.
I think this would be interesting, and I'm curious to see how you will review it. But I'm going to tell you to listen to the Elon Musk episode of the Joe Rogan Experience.
Okay.
Because I think that you will have a lot of things to say about it.
You don't think I'm going to agree with Elon?
I think that you are very much going to agree with Elon on some things and very much not on some things.
Okay.
But Elon Musk is an incredibly interesting person to listen to.
I believe it.
But like not for the reasons.
I'd listen to an ear biscuit with him.
Not for the reasons that you would think. Like, to some extent, Elon Musk doesn't get it.
Kind of like atypical?
No. He's all there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's just listen to it. It's interesting. It is long. If you don't find time to listen to the entire thing, I understand. It is long, but it is something you can just like do other things while you're listening.
Right.
So, but it is very good. And it's probably Joe's like least or most family friendly episode, except for the one part.
I mean, I can watch and listen to things that aren't family friendly. I just wrote an entire blog about not family friendly things.
I know, but like I just want to like I don't want to. I have trouble recommending like. Because we're recommending these things to each other, but obviously people are going to take our recommendations.
Well, yeah, I mean, the point is...
So I'm just putting it out there that, like, the Joe Rogan Experience is not, like, a clean podcast.
Yeah, well, the song Act My Age is not clean. And the music video, I mean, it doesn't, like, explicitly have nudity or anything, but it's definitely
but, like,
not...
I've listened to some episodes of the Joe Rogan Experience that are, like, very not clean.
Right.
At the end of the day, he is a shockingly good interviewer.
I'm sure he is. You don't get to be number one because you hosted Fear Factor.
Why not, though?
Like,
that absolutely seems like a thing that would happen.
I mean, I would say, in the grand scheme of things, Dax Shepard is more famous than Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
His podcast is not as big.
Right.
I would say Lance Armstrong is more famous than Joe Rogan.
I didn't know who Joe Rogan was before the Joe Rogan Experience.
Exactly.
Or outside of the Joe Rogan Experience.
But like he's very good.
But no, like, you listen to him talk and especially in some of the episodes where he's just so vulgar and like talking about just really weird stuff and then all of a sudden the conversation shifts and he's able to ask questions in ways that are funny but also like get you talking.
Neat zero, but
yeah, listen to that. And let's move on with Tifios.
We should really get some critical review in of this film.
Okay.
Let's talk about the movie.
So this is a very important movie.
Why is this an important movie?
Because it broaches a lot of things that people need to understand. Like, to some extent, like, everybody's going to die. Not to some extent. Everybody is going to die eventually. Some of us have a more accelerated timeline than others for that. And it really hits on some hard stuff in here about, like, what happens to the parents after, like, a kid dies.
Yes.
And what happens to your friends. And what happens to people around you. And it shows so many different perspectives for, like, how you deal with a sick person. And so I think it's a movie that people should watch. They should understand and learn from about, like, the fact that just because somebody's sick doesn't mean they're not a person.
Right. And I think if you look at John Green's expanded works and you compare The Fault in Our Stars to something like Turtles All the Way Down, like in The Fault in Our Stars, the message is our diseases do not define us. We are people for a variety of reasons. And even if our disease is what kills us, we are human beings outside of that. Right?
Right.
But if you look at something like Turtles All the Way Down, the whole thing is about how Asa can't exist without her disease.
Right. But it still doesn't define her.
It does for a while. Like most of the book is about her coming to terms with the fact that it doesn't define her.
Right. But that means it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't define her.
Right, but for the first 17 years of her life, she was living this selfish existence where all that mattered in her life was puncturing her middle finger, and, you know, her friends' situations didn't matter, and the people that were interested in her didn't matter, and she was just so blind or selfish about her OCD.
Right. No, I'm absolutely with that. But it's not that much different from Hazel.
Right.
Is it like and you see this immediately as soon as she meets Gus and Gus asks her to tell him about herself, she just starts her cancer story over.
Yeah, and she's like, well, you know, I was such and such age before the miracle. But
she is her disease.
Right.
Before she meets Gus.
Yeah, and then Gus is able to coerce out of her. What do you think of people who live by this ultra nihilist oblivion mentality. Like when you have that conversation that like nothing matters and we're all going to disappear into the void. What are your thoughts on that view? And do you think that Hazel still thinks that towards the end, or do you think she's learned the value of her experience?
No, I mean, Gus, to some extent, obviously not literally, but Gus kind of gave his life up for her.
Right.
Like, he had to die so she could live. Not live in
Yeah.
like the you keep breathing for another 10 years thing, but so that she could live in that you do more than just breathe.
Right. She could enjoy life experiences because we're not just the void.
Right, you don't wake up, breathe, go to sleep, die. Like, it's not, there's a lot more to that in life, and I can't, to some extent, I've said to some extent way too much. I don't know where I started saying that, but I just got self-conscious about the fact that I've said that 5 times in the last 2 minutes. But I don't necessarily like dealing with people that take that attitude to it. It's like, you can't live life thinking that nothing matters.
Right. Because then nothing will matter.
Right, we are all gonna die. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be 75 years from now. Like, you know, I could live to be 100.
You think 75 years is as long as the human race has got?
No, but I mean, I'm 25. I'll be shocked if I live to 100.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it to 125 easy.
No, you won't.
Oh, yeah,
Nobody
game
has
on.
lived that long yet.
Bet.
Nobody has lived that long yet.
I will.
So you think you're the one.
No, I think I will not be the oldest person alive, but I think I'll make it to 125.
I don't know if we'll get that far in that amount of time. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so 75 years, 100 years, whatever. Like, you get what I'm saying. You could
Right.
live till the day you die of old age, or you could live until the day you die by getting hit by a car. Like, the fact of the human experience is that we don't know what's going to happen to us 5 minutes from now. Like, I could slip and fall in the bathtub and die.
Please don't.
I'm not going to.
Good.
I could, but that's what I'm saying is like, you got to live every minute of your life, not necessarily thinking, oh, I could die any second, but you got to actually live every minute of your life.
Right.
You can't just sit
like, I
around
get
waiting
the-
to kick off dead.
I get the from dust to dust thing. Like, I get what you're saying. It's like, we came from nothing and we will turn into nothing. And in the grand scheme of things, our lives don't
I'm
matter.
not
But
saying
it's
that.
Not, no, I get what, not
Oh,
you.
okay. I'm making sure I was clear on that. It's like, that's not what I'm saying.
Right, but the point the film and the book are making is that it doesn't matter if you have cancer, it doesn't matter if you're the healthiest person alive. You may not change the universe, you know, like it's like the meme from Star Wars where Finn comes up to Poe and he's like, tell the world we're bros, and Poe leans in and whispers to Finn, we're bros, and he's like, why'd you whisper that? And he says, because you are my world. Right, it's like, you're not going to make a universal difference regardless of your situation, and that's okay, but you might make a monumental difference to one person, and that's really what's important, is that like, it's easy enough to accept that, suppose, you know, the universe has only been around for 5,000 years. I'm not positing that, but suppose minimal, the universe has been around for 5,000 years. You're not making a lasting impact on 5,000 years of history, and you have to accept that. But the fact that you're able to make an impact on one person should be enough.
Right. It's like, there's going to be in, you know, all of history, maybe 10 Da Vinci's. Like,
Right.
You're not going to, I mean, you might be. There's a strong possibility you're not going to be the next Da Vinci, but that doesn't mean it's not worth learning to paint. Like, it doesn't mean it's not worth getting up and living your life.
Being a Renaissance man.
Right. You know, you got to wake up every day and hope that you can do something to further decrease world suck. To make an impact, not necessarily on the global consciousness, but on the world itself, like on the people in the world. You got to wake up and think like, hey, how can I make somebody's day better today? How can I do something beneficial? How can I live my life in a way that is according with the values? Like, how can I
The values I believe.
the values I believe in? Yeah. How can I make myself proud today?
And that's what Hazel is taught by Gus, is that like, Gus gets it. He's like, you know, I've had this close encounter with death. Moving forward, I don't want my life to mean nothing. I want it to mean something to somebody. How can I make a difference? And, you know, his best friend has cancer and his girlfriend has cancer. And he's not afraid of the fact that he knows that it's all temporary, because if you do look at the universe as millions of years old, then 100 years is no different than 20 years, you know?
Right, it's all the blink of an eye to the world.
Right.
Yeah, and Hazel wakes up every day and watches America's Next Top Model because she thinks life is pointless and that she's never going to be anything because she doesn't have a story to tell. She doesn't have anything important to say, which is
She's
just
a
not
strain
true.
on her parents.
Right, that's all she is a burden to her folks, and that's just not true. It's just not the case, and she needed Gus to learn that, and she teaches Gus that even if, as long as somebody remembers you, you win. Like, yeah, everybody gets forgotten, but it's what you do in your lifetime that matters, not like what people think of you in 1,000 years.
Right. Yeah, what does it matter what people in 1,000 years think of you? Like,
You'll be super duper dead.
you'll be super duper dead. Why not just make a lasting impact on the people
Around you,
live
and
with?
he does, and obviously he can go to, you know, die in peace because he's taught this.
Well, he doesn't die in peace.
Sure he does.
No, she even says that, like, I would have wanted to tell you that he never stopped smiling and he never stopped telling jokes until the end, but that's not how cancer is.
Well, no, I'm not talking about like physical peace. I'm talking about like he died knowing that he made an impact.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He can rest at peace with oblivion. Obviously, dying isn't easy, especially when you have a cancer that's eating you from the inside out.
Cancer covering your whole body.
Right, like that's not easy. That's never gonna be pretty.
No.
It sucks. Like that happens to people every day. It sucks.
Cancer's the worst.
Like I'm just so lucky that the people in my life have had it have been spared.
Yeah.
And I mean this was a tough day when I first saw this movie because it was a day that my mom had gotten back it was years after anything happened with her and her cancer, but she gotten back some really weird test results. We didn't really know what was going on, and it was kind of like a hey, we gotta wait till next week to get the full answers. And so there was definitely a part of me that thought that, oh my god, it's back, like we're gonna have another problem. And that was the day I saw this movie. It was like we already had tickets, we already had plans, and I found that out at like 5:00, and then I went at 6:00 to go see the movie.
Must have been rough.
It was rough, dude. I actually didn't cry the first time I saw the movie, like until I got out to the car, which is weird because the girl I was with was just sobbing the whole time, the entire movie.
I cried during the movie.
Oh, I every other time I've seen it, I have, because
I cried when you and I watched
experienced the movie just like a normal person without the weight of fatality weighing on my head.
Right. It's almost, yeah, like I've noticed for me personally that
Siri, shut up.
I can cry watching a State Farm commercial, right? Like they get 30 seconds to deliver the hardest hitting emotional pitch they possibly can. And
Yeah.
it works, you know? And so I'll cry watching movies, I'll cry watching TV shows, but I don't often cry for like personal things, especially not in front of, and this is probably just a flaw with me, but I don't cry to like personal things, especially not in front of people, because I guess I have this weird ingrained desire to like, you know, be strong, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, it's just a little factoid about me. I don't often cry in front of my friends and family, but I definitely cry watching TV and movies all the time. I'm pretty sure I cried playing Spider-Man the other day.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, this is a heck of a movie. It's tough. It's tough to watch. And if we're talking about it just from a movie perspective, it is very well cast. It's very well written. And shot. It's got a really nice aesthetic to it. Like it looks like it'll probably look dated in 10 years, but it currently doesn't.
Yeah, currently it looks really
And I
nice.
mean, it's only 4 years old, but it is a teen movie.
I can't believe it's as old as it is.
It's a teen movie. They tend to go out of style pretty quick.
I don't know, man. There's only like one scene in The Breakfast Club where I'm like, what on earth were you thinking,
Okay, well, that is
John?
an absolute, like, timeless classic.
Yeah.
That is,
Do you know what
that
scene
is
I'm
like
talking
an
about?
important movie. And no, what scene are you talking about?
When he breaks the glass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What on earth?
I don't know. Yeah, but this is a really good movie. You know, it doesn't shy away from anything. It just, especially with the narration, really just hits you with what's going on, and it's tough to watch. It's a hard movie to be a part of. Because, like, it's not about, you know, it's not your typical teen comedy. It's not about a manic pixie dream girl. It's about...
You don't think Gus is a manic pixie dream girl?
No.
He puts a cigarette in his mouth and doesn't light it because he's
Right,
dangerous.
but he doesn't suck at the end.
No, he doesn't.
Like, he
suck
doesn't
at
end
the
up being a terrible human being that just rots people from the inside out.
Yeah, God. Are you talking about Margot Roth Spiegelman?
I'm talking about Margot Roth Spiegelman. I'm talking about Summer.
Summer.
Talking about, God, what's her name in Garden State? Talking about...
I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, all the classic examples. They all that's the crux of a manic pixie dream girl is they suck, man. They're terrible. The whole point of the movie is to learn that like, and great, I mean, this trope is tired and stop using it, but it is to learn that, like, yeah, man, you don't need a girl to be a human.
Right.
Gus is just like a really good person that ends up dying.
Yeah.
Just because he's hot and cool doesn't make him a manic pixie dream girl.
He is hot and cool. He does have a Jeep Commander.
Yeah, and he can't drive.
Can't drive.
You're driving while, like, discomforting is not technically unsafe.
Well, they bring that back. They talk about how, I think it's an important thing to bring up, is that Gus can't drive, but he can because of the cancer perk. And Ethan just put on the world's worst sunglasses. Gus can't drive, but he can because of the cancer perk. And then they get to go to Amsterdam and meet their hero because of the cancer perk. And it's not a good thing. You know, like, cancer and your perks are not a good thing. Gus being bad at driving could have easily resulted in his death.
Or somebody else's.
Right.
Yeah.
And it definitely resulted in the destruction of property.
Right. And it's like, we need to talk about the way we handle these things.
Right.
It's like, yeah, it sucks, but a kid with cancer is still a kid.
Right.
Like, the rules still apply. And they deal with that with Hazel's parents, because she's, you know, she heard this thing about what her mom, under some intense amount of stress of being about to lose a kid, said that she wasn't going to be a mother anymore, and then just doesn't talk about it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And just, like, labors under the weight of that.
Right. About, you know,
Right.
what am I going to do moving
Right,
forward?
and the mom's like, you know what I do when you're in support group is I study for my classes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I get that you're my child, but like my life doesn't revolve around you, and I am prepared to move on with my life.
Which is brutal.
I mean, it's not though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's comforting to Hazel to know that she's not a grenade, that the world won't stop when she passes.
Right, it's like it's gonna suck. It'll always suck for the people around her, and the people around her will always remember her. But like life charges on whether you want it to or not, and people have to be able to move on from. You can't be consumed by the grief of losing somebody. It's like kids lose parents all the time. Parents lose kids, you know, a lot less frequently, but it still happens. And it's like
Right.
you got to be able to move on with your life.
Yeah.
And it does. And moving on doesn't mean forgetting that person. It doesn't mean they're any less important. It's just that like a life consumed by grief is pointless.
I agree.
And so I don't.
Let's-
I don't think it's brutal. I
go ahead.
think. Sorry, I was just finishing that thought. I don't think it's brutal. I think it's important to show that like because that is the thing. That's what Hazel was worried about, is that her parents they just existed to. That's she felt like she put them in the position where they only exist to be caretakers, and they won't have anything to take care of. They won't have anything to do. And she says as much to her mother, and her mom's just like, negative, Ghost Rider.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen that way.
Yeah, we'll be okay. I mean, we're not going to be okay right away, but we'll figure it out. And who knows? She might outlive them. Who the heck knows? Because the movie ends. Because nothing happens to Anna after the end of the book. Nothing written, at least. There isn't an answer to what happens at the end of the book.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, we sort of know. Van Houten continues to live. He moves to Amsterdam, and he lives miserably. Lives a half-life.
Right, but he's not the Dutch tulip man.
Right. He's not Sisyphus.
Also, like, nothing happens to Sisyphus the hamster. Sisyphus the hamster is like a hamster. Hamsters live at max like 3 years.
Yeah, he's
so
dead.
realistically, Sisyphus probably, you know, existed for another year or so. You know, I don't think the Dutch tulip man just like brutally murdered the hamster.
Yeah. Well, let's do some rankings.
Okay. Gotta get is there a villain here? Who's the villain? Cancer?
Cancer.
15 out of 10.
Yeah, Cancer destroys.
Cancer is the worst
Cancer's
villain.
unapologetic. Yeah. I would take Ultron before I took Cancer.
You can reason with Ultron.
Yeah.
Like Ultron, yeah, you can reason with any villain.
Is this movie better than Age of Ultron?
Oh god, I don't know. Hang on. I gotta get the list open.
Well, I think it's going to be the easiest to compare it to other teen films.
Not another teen movie.
Not that one. That falls literally at the bottom of our list. That's worse than The Phantom Menace.
Where did Perks end up?
27.
27. Okay.
So right below Titanic, right above Incredibles 2.
So you don't think this is as good as Perks?
No, I think the book is better than Perks. I don't know about the book Perks, but I think the book Fault in Our Stars is better than the movie Perks. I've never read the book Perks all the way through.
weird comparison. I don't think that's quite how it works.
Pretty sure that is.
Hang on, I'm stretching. Gah, I needed that.
It's very weird to compare this to the rest of the
To the list.
to the rest of the list.
Okay.
Like, is this better than Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire?
It's better than.
Yes.
It's better than Ready Player One.
Okay. I don't even know where Ready Player One is.
Right below Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I would say.
What a weird list.
I mean, see, these are the problems I keep running into with this list. I am glad, actually, now that we've decided, I am glad we're throwing the list away.
we're doing a new
Yeah,
list.
we're doing a new list. We're gonna start over. I do think it's because I think it's. I don't necessarily know where it falls with the rest of them, but I do think it's better than Incredibles 2.
I mean, we can put it right with Perks.
Yeah, but that just feels like a cop out.
I know. Well, it's like the only thing I can compare it to.
I know.
It's like,
But Incredibles 2 is just so overrated.
yeah, but I mean, there was a certain level of like, it's a brand new thing that we got to watch.
I just need to fight harder for my movies, man. That's what I learned from guest episodes. Is that when you side with the guest, dumb things happen.
I'm curious as to what's going to happen. Oh, we should make some announcements at the end of this show.
Yeah, we will. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, I want to put it right above Incredibles too, right below Perks being a Wallflower.
Tifios.
Yes.
Cool.
As far as a breakfast food, God, what breakfast food makes you change your life and your existential crisis becomes an awareness of existence? Coffee.
I was gonna say this is the first time you had coffee.
Yeah, this is like I'm living now.
Right. It's like it kind of sucks. It's hard to get down, but like wow.
Wow, everything's different now. Everything's
And then
better
and
now.
then you just grow used to it, and it's just your everyday life then.
Yeah, it's cool. It's your first cup of coffee, so however you made it.
My first cup of coffee was at the Café Du Monde in New Orleans.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that a good cup of coffee?
No.
It was like hot black bean water.
Yeah, because Kevin Detbarn was like, I had my first 2 cups of coffee that day. Because
Then your second cup of coffee
at
was
Stumptown.
awesome.
Yeah, because Kevin Detbarn was like, wait, this is your first cup of coffee? This is terrible.
And then we walked like halfway across the
it wasn't
city
black.
to
It was like a cafe au lait. That was the thing you did there.
Oh yeah, it was
With
terrible.
beignets.
I remember that.
The beignets were delicious.
Yeah, I'm about the Café du Monde beignet.
The
Perfect.
beige nets.
Beige nets. All right, so my first cup of coffee was super creamy.
I believe it. You've since become a jerk about coffee.
I'm not a jerk about coffee. I had cream in my coffee today. It was good. I had Reese's cream.
Yeah,
in my
but
coffee
there was
today.
a while there where you're just like, oh, I drink coffee black because it's the way to drink coffee.
I mean, if you're buying my coffee, I'm gonna drink it black because it's like $1.25 black and like $7 for a PSL.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just gonna, you know what? I'll just take a grande black coffee, thank you.
yeah, maybe put a little cinnamon in it.
Yeah, but like I can drink it black. That's fine. Would you like room for cream and sugar? I don't know. That sounds like less coffee.
Yeah, like I'd rather just take a couple sips of black coffee then cream it up.
Right.
Okay,
so we've got some announcements to make. Over the past few weeks, Ethan and I have been writing blogs. They've been reviews, they've been top 5 lists, they've been just a variety of different things, and they're currently available on our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/baconandeggs. If they've been on there for over a week, they're free for everyone forever, and you can just read them and enjoy them. We also have the Facebook group, which you can join. It's free for everyone forever. It's called Bacon and Eggs Fans. There's a link in the description. And exciting announcement, for 3 weeks in November, we will have Seamus Gorman on the show to talk about Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. That'll be Ethan and I and Seamus on the show. And then for Thanksgiving Day, Ethan will be on tour and will not be able to be on the show. So we're going to be reviewing Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, and that will be me and Jonathan of Super Carlin Brothers.
be the first episode that I'm not there for.
The first episode Ethan's not there for, but I will be there. We'll be talking Fantastic Beasts. We do not currently... No, we do have some plans for October. We have a couple films picked out. So in October, you can expect to see blogs from Ethan and I on Monday and Friday. Ethan's blogs will come out on Monday, mine come out on Friday. And then on Wednesdays, we put out a blog on the hash browns. So we talked briefly about what we liked, didn't like about the previous week's hash browns. So yesterday came out a blog from me about Ozark and a blog from Ethan about Atypical.
On Patreon.
A week from
yesterday.
On Patreon.
So the first public available episode will be, or first public available blogs there will be the reviews of White Gold and Independence Day.
And those will be available yesterday.
Yeah, those will be available yesterday for everybody, and then Ozark and Atypical will be available for patrons yesterday.
Yes.
So
and
patrons, you got an email. Congratulations.
Yeah, you get a it's a $1 Patreon to see any of our stuff early release. Exciting news coming in October. The 4th will be our last episode of our first year.
Year one. We'll be doing a year in review brunch that Sunday.
We will be doing year in review brunch that Sunday. We are going to just sort of look at the year, make sure that everything's exactly where it needs to be for the list, and then we will retire that list, starting a new big list in the next fiscal year.
Sometime after that brunch episode, you'll be able to get a copy of the list, a signed poster.
Signed by us. Yeah. We do have merch available. We currently are running logo merch, so the logo you see when you listen to the episodes. We have logo merch with that. We can get like t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeve tees, and stickers. And then we also have some really cool Howdy Yokes merch, all available on Teespring. There's a link for that in the description. Be sure to check it out. If you see anything you like, it really does help the show out when you buy those things. And you get to support the show by wearing what we make. What else is there to talk about?
That's so neat. So neat, guys. So happy. Stoked. Howdy Stokes. I think that's honestly it. We've been a good episode.
Yeah. There's only one other content coming up announcement I can make. No, there's two content announcements I can make. The October 11th episode will be our first episode of the new year, and we're going to be talking about the first Transformers movie. And October 18th is going to be a crossover episode with another podcast to be revealed shortly, but we will be talking about Wonder Woman.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
So that's
so fun.
That's a bunch of announcements.
That's so fun, guys. Fair enough. All right. Well, I think that's it. As always, you can find us down in the description bar everywhere you need. I'm not at AmeriCarlin. I'm at Wow Now But the O's are Zeros. He's at AmeriCarlin. You can find Vaishon, who does our merch. Not our merch. You can find Vaishon, who does our logo. You can find Citrix, who does our music. Everything down there in the description, as well as links for where to get everything. So that's super exciting. And yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening. And thank you even more for donating.
Sound more confident about that.
Thanks so much for listening. If you want a handwritten card, donate $1 or more on Patreon.
And we will mail it to you in the mail. Anyway, Thank you again for listening to another episode of Bacon and Eggs. I've been Ethan Edgehill. He's been Tyler Carlin. And until next week, arrivederci.
An Imperial Affliction. This movie was released on June 6th blah, 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 blah.